I act so differently in front of my parents, honestly.
Well, you said your dad was in the army?
Yeah, my dad was like group captain in the RAF, very, very strict man, very military, and through respect, I think that's why I act differently. I completely respect my parents. I'd never swear in front of them. I hid the fact I had a motorbike for 2 years. I hid a tattoo for a year because I was scared what my dad would say. Just purely, I think it's because of a respect
And you're
thing.
still like that when you go home?
Yeah. Big star, yeah. I accidentally said a word like poo before, once in the car. My dad stopped the car, and that was because I dropped some ketchup. I was eating some chips. I dropped something on me. I went, oh, whatever.
Chips. And just get this is athletic. Yeah, OK.
Right.
Just
got
like,
to eat.
yeah.
And literally, he looked round, started to stop the car, and I said, oh, sorry. And literally, but he'll swear in front of me.
How old were you? How old?
About 25.
No!
Yeah. So I can honestly relate to that. I do act so differently around my parents.
No, this has all gone the wrong way round. I didn't mean it like that. I meant that...
Oh, kiddish.
What I have... No, not kiddish. I mean, I shouldn't do this on telly.
Go on.
I arrive at Mum's house, and all the way down, I think, I'm in a really good mood, the sun's out, I'm going to be really, really calm, and everything is going to be great. And within about 2 minutes, I'm like...
Because you want to get out.
Yeah, no, I just want to go...
Well, things that, you know, your parents do things that kind of annoy you, you know, I think. So when you've had freedom and you've lived away since the age of 16 or 18, however old you are, when you go to university or move on, when you go home, it is kind of sometimes my parents will do things that will annoy me a little bit. And that's not them being annoying. That's just me being used to having my own space.
Because I was just trying to say, is it them or is it...
No, it's me. Yeah, I'd say it's me. I'd
or
say.
it's that they're deaf and the telly's really loud.
What? Who said that?
I'm like you, and I have a real respect for my mum and dad. But here's the thing for me, as a 42-year-old bloke, I'm still looking for my dad's approval of everything I do, which I think is interesting. I mean, I've got 4 kids of my own, but if I write a novel, I do something on telly, or I do a show, I'm always hoping my dad will think that was good, son, because I'm still looking for his approvals, and I think that's really interesting. I don't get it.
I can completely relate to that. You know, when I was running, the first person on the phone is my dad. What did you do? He knows nothing, really, but I said, what do you think of the race? And you went off a bit too quick, or, you know, you did all right. You know, and I'll always search for that approval from my dad. And I think, once again, for me, that is kind of like a respect thing, and I value my dad's opinion in everything I do.
But that strikes me as a very healthy way to grow old with your parents growing older. I think that sort of respect and approval is actually
if you want
great.
their respect, you'll continue to try and do right by them, I think. If you don't care about them, you just go off the rails.
Because I think what's dangerous is that a lot of people who are, you know, sort of adult human beings who run their own lives, when they get back home, turn into the teenager who didn't do anything in the house. I mean, I was married to somebody like that, you know, who was, in our house, he was helpful and solicitous. In his parents' house, he sat down and he didn't move for the whole weekend, which I used to find catastrophically annoying. And, of course, I think his parents indulged that because they got that bit of impact, which is also nice. You know, the fact that your children have grown up and left home, and then you kind of get your baby back home for a while, behaving as they did before they left, is really comforting.
So I'm stuck on the seeking approval from your parents thing, because I don't think it is a good thing. You see, I think that's something you've got to be very careful of, because you stop acting through your own personal desires.
It's not approval, it's just...
It's recognition, isn't it?
Yeah, but...
opinion, I would say more. So I value my parents' opinion on what I do.
They know you pretty well.
Yeah.
And it usually only happens within the home, doesn't it? Because I can remember going out to supper with somebody, with his parents, and he was making a lot of money, very successful, and he showed off through the whole meal, you know, ordering the wine, calling the waiters by their first names. Then we went home to drop his parents off, and he immediately regressed. He lost about 20 years and became the kid again. You know, so I don't think he could keep it going when he was back home. Obviously, the whole thing hit him, and he just became a teenager.
Okay. Lots of interesting points, loads of interesting points. Let's throw it open to you. Do you find you still act like a child when you see your mum and dad? Kirsty?
Oh, we have Diana online too.
Well, no, what about you, Kirsty? Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah?
No,
You are
but
actually
I
only
blame
just
the
a child,
parents.
really,
It's not me. It is because they're just so unreasonable.
Because they treat you like a child?
No, but they are always right. They are,
Right, okay,
and that
okay.
I cannot.
No.
Nobody else has an opinion. They are right.
Okay, okay. And the people at home?
Sorry, really sorry. I'm going home at the weekend. We have Diana online too.
Who is it?
Diana.
Diana, good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Does this chime any bells with you?
Yes. I don't think I personally act like child when I go to see my mum. I think she treats me like a child, whether I go to see her or she's calling me. I'll give you an example. My mum, before I say my example, my mum only does it to her daughters and to her daughters who are divorced. So my sisters who are still married, she doesn't treat them like that. She does it to the ones that are on their own. She feels she has to oversee our welfare. I go to see my mum, and if she starts to behave in a certain way, very nurturing, and giving me a few bits of advice, and I say anything, she says, "Oh, Diana, don't be so childish." But the ironic thing about it is, I went on a date recently, and my mum called my home, and my daughter said, "Oh, Mum's going out to dinner with someone." When I went
Diana, are you whispering because your mum is downstairs? I just wanted to check.
Sorry, I'm not whispering.
She's not here.
I know, sorry. I'm talking about her bizarre.
Sorry, Diana.
No, I went out on a date recently. And my mum called my home, and my daughter told her, "Mum's gone out to dinner." And I went to see her on the Sunday, and my mum sat me down and wanted to explain to me about, safe sex. And I thought...
Oh, that's not right, Diana. That is not right. Thank you for the call. It's true. Let's have another.
Online one, we have another Matthew.
Morning, Matthew.
Oh, good morning.
Watcher. So, your parents, do you act like a child?
Well, a bit, yeah. I think they still try to control everything about you, from what you're wearing to your moral compass, and when you're growing up, everything they say is absolute until you're a teenager and you try and form your own opinion.
Yeah.
And then it's such a struggle, almost like schizophrenic struggle, to extract your identity, forming identity from theirs.
Then help me out here. Help me out here, Matthew. So, if we recognise that's the situation, how is one, i.e. the child, supposed to deal with it? Do you shut up and let them control you for the few hours you're there?
Well, you're going to be following them around carrying shopping bags all your life then, do you know what I mean? You need to get out from their influence and form your own identity rather than them dragging you back.
But even if you only see them, say, 2 or 3 times a year, when you're at their house, you would argue the toss. We're back to that again. You'd argue the toss and fight for your identity, even if it means there's going to be rows.
Well, of course, they shouldn't be trying to still control you, They still want you to be their ideal of what they saw you as a baby.
It's just that...
turned out differently.
It strikes me sometimes, Matthew, it'd be easier, although it seems to be impossible for me to do, it'd just be easier to be really nice for a couple of hours, do what they say, and then go home.
Yeah, keep the peace, generally. That's a nice thing to do, isn't it?
You've changed the tune. Thank you for the call, Matthew.